Let me begin with a few remarks on myself. My name is Dennis Chester. I want to start by saying welcome to everyone. Good evening here, just after 5 p.m. And this is our second annual virtual English Department graduation ceremony, graduation celebration. My name is Dennis Chester. As I said, I am the chair of the English Department, and it's my privilege to be able to say a few things to you as we get started with this recognition and celebration of your accomplishments, you graduates. So to begin, I just want to say three things to you all before we move on to our actual commencement speaker, Mr. Quist, and before we move on to the recognition of you students. And those three things are these. First, and again, welcome. Welcome to this virtual space, which even though it takes place over the internet and through electronic media, it is still a space of community support and sharing, even though we are not in the same physical space. So now that you're here and you are welcomed, I ask that all of you join us in this collective spirit and that we all be prepared to celebrate together and to cheer for our friends, family, and loved ones when their names are called out in the program. Second, after welcoming all of you, our guests, I want to say thank you to all of you, to you new graduates. Thank you for spending these years of study here with us. Speaking for our faculty and staff, I think I can say that we have all been enriched by our time working together with you here, and we thank you for choosing Cal State East Bay's English Department as your academic home. To you friends and family of graduates, thank you for spending this hour with us. Your loved ones that you've come to support deserve every accolade you can give them, and we thank you for coming to share today's occasion with us. And lastly, I want to thank the faculty and staff here who throughout the years have acted as guides, giving all you students direction in your studies and helping you find new pathways to success. And in particular, I want to thank Trinity Dalton, Crystal Perez, and Mike Ravasio, who were the committee most actively working to put this evening's event together. So thanks to those three in particular. Their efforts are the ones that provided the actual organizational momentum needed to make an event like this happen. Then third, and most importantly, after welcoming you and saying thanks, I want to be the first to say congratulations to you new graduates. While I haven't had all of you in classes that I've taught, many of you have worked with me, and for all of you, I'm the one who eventually signs the graduate evaluation forms. I'm the one who knows all your grades and everything. And I know that graduating with this degree hasn't been easy for any of you. And I know that all of you have faced different challenges and different struggles, and that succeeding in this project that you've been working on is, you deserve the highest congratulations for this. And I think, again, I speak for all of the English Department's faculty and staff when I say that we are inspired by your accomplishments that you've achieved and that we are very proud of the work that you have done. And we want to say congratulations once again. So with that, now that I've said welcome and thank you and congratulations, okay, I'm ready to hand things over to Professor Trinity Dalton, who is going to introduce our commencement speaker.
All right, thank you, Dennis. This is so fun. This is so fun and such a treat for me. Thanks for having me, everyone. And I bet people will be trickling in as we talk here today. Yeah, I'm Trinity Dalton. I really want to thank you all for having me this first year and for transcending all of the challenges we faced. I am so, so proud of this class. I'm going to save some teary-eyed words for later because we have time for that. But I just wanted to say that up front. Welcome, and we are so happy to have you. I am here to introduce soon-to-be Dr. Donald Quist, who is an amazing author and finishing up a doctorate right now. And he judged our creative writing contest this year for fiction and Flash, which was a creative nonfiction and nonfiction blend. Here's a little bio, and then Donald, if you are here and ready, we'll let you, maybe we'll move the slide, and we'll let you take it from here. Donald Quist is the author of Linked Story Collection For Other Ghosts and the essay collection Harbors, a Forward Indies Bronze winner and International Book Awards finalist. His writing has appeared in Agni, North American Review, Michigan Quarterly Review, The Rumpus, and was notable in Best American Essays 2018. He is creator of the online nonfiction series Past 10 and co-host of the Black and White and Read All Over podcast. Donald has received fellowships from Sundress Academy for the Arts and Kimbilio Fiction. He earned his MFA in writing from Vermont College of Fine Arts and is currently a Gus T. Ridgel Fellow in the English PhD program at University of Missouri. He serves as faculty at the MFA in Writing program at Alma College. And I just wanted to add very briefly, because I could say a lot about Donald and why he's our perfect commencement speaker today. He is so engaged, so creative, so widely just active in literary communities. He's a model of literary citizenship, and I loved working with him at Vermont College of Fine Arts. And he had the nickname, Donald, if I can recall a detail, we dubbed him the mayor of VCFA. He was that community building in our school. So let's welcome Donald, who judged our writing contests. And Donald, enjoy meeting some of our amazing students here and faculty members, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. It's always a pleasure to see you, Trini. It's always great. So many thanks to the English Department at California State University, East Bay for having me. And I wanted to especially thank Department Chair Dennis Chester and, of course, Trinity Dalton. It's an honor to have the chance to speak with you today. So, I've had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit about this program by working with its literary journal, Occam's Razor. I had the chance to read through submissions and select winners for a couple student writing contests. And I was really impressed with the skills and capability of the emerging writers, and more importantly, the thoughtfulness among the students that seemed to be nurtured here. And so I was very glad to be invited to join this creative community for its commencement. But truthfully, I struggled to find some words of wisdom to impart to you all today. I went to some of my favorite artists and searched through quotes that might inspire and motivate, but I didn't want to share something with you that came off as prescriptive or impractical. I wanted to give you something that might speak to each of you individually, but also hint to something universal. And nothing jumped up in my mind immediately. So I did what I usually do when I'm having trouble writing something and need some distance. I binge reality television. I particularly love contests, races around the world, baking and glass blowing competitions, physical challenges to outplay, outwit, and outlast other contestants. But my favorite has to be RuPaul's Drag Race. If you are unfamiliar with the show, it is created and hosted by queer icon RuPaul Andre Charles. And each season, RuPaul invites drag queens from across the United States and its territories to prove that they have the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to become America's next drag superstar. It involves a lot of dressing up in outlandish outfits, acting through campy skits and musical numbers, and lip-syncing to famous pop songs to win the favor of celebrity judges. Listen, RuPaul's Drag Race is a national treasure, as far as I'm concerned. And I've been a fan of RuPaul since the early 90s, long before the show ever aired. Mama Ru, as fans like I call her, has been a hero to me, and so often modeled what it means to believe and understand the value of one's own craft. And there's a quote by Ru that I keep with me that really has helped me solidify my own journey through publishing and academia that I want to share with you now. RuPaul says, "The most powerful thing you can do is become the image of your own imagination." So listen, I'm going to repeat this for the people in the back. The most powerful thing you can do is become the image of your own imagination. For RuPaul, born a gay black boy and growing up in the South, becoming the image of his own imagination meant putting on wigs, padding his body, cinching his waist, and adopting a feminine persona that he would often draw on paper. A caricature of himself that was 2 parts Cher, 3 parts Diana Ross, a dash of Dolly Parton, a little bit of David Bowie, James Brown, and a smattering of Bugs Bunny. In becoming the image of his own imagination, RuPaul became an international fashion model, an actor, a singer, songwriter, and author. RuPaul's vision built an industry around his passion that would create a platform for others who shared a similar vision for themselves. And for me, becoming what I've always imagined, following RuPaul's example, has meant writing, publishing, and teaching. Becoming the scholar and educator I always wished for as a kid. I've wanted to be a writer since I was 5 years old. I'd peck at the keys of my mother's old typewriter, pretending I was making something that might be loved by others. However, growing up between homes of my divorced parents, my father, a Ghanaian immigrant taxi driver, and my mother, an African-American software engineer, my interest in words was often misunderstood or described and dismissed as a hobby. Both parents encouraged me to focus on more practical or lucrative career options. But I was a bad student in high school outside of art and English and showed no inclination towards science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. School-sponsored aptitude tests revealed I was best suited for manual labor. As high school drew to a close, Mom had long talks with me about looking into a job at the post office or waste management, positions that might promise me decent benefits and consistent pay. But I held on to the image of me at a word processor producing pages. Despite my grades, I wrote my way into a college that would take me. I read as much as I could, studied, and reached out to artists I admired for advice on how to improve and develop to actualize the image of myself I'd long imagined. I continued on, pursued a master's, moved abroad to broaden my perspective. I started a PhD program to learn more and refine my critical and analytical skills to find ways to decolonize literature classrooms and literary workshops. And most importantly, I've gotten the chance to create spaces for others to make themselves. It hasn't been the clearest or easiest path. Many times I've felt lost or unsure, but that's never lasted very long. Following my passion and vision has often placed me where it seems I was meant to be. And so far, a life lived for what I've imagined has given me few regrets. And I hope the same for each of you. Look, real talk, for those graduating today, you are moving ever further into a rapidly changing world with unprecedented challenges. There will be times when it feels easier to surrender to cynicism, to question the usefulness of things like words and art and imagination in response to injustices and exigencies that seem impossible to correct. There will be times when it appears we are all fated for doom. But I argue that the response to the impossible odds humanity continually faces has always been to lean into the imaginary. I urge you to reject the Western world's agnostic reflex to the imaginal, as contemporary philosopher Henry Corbin calls it. Too often, Imagination is viewed as being in opposition to reality, as if they don't influence one another. Listen, the images of your imagination are not outside the framework of being and existing. Imagination is the true where of all things. Imagination is where we go for answers, what we draw from to shape our shared existence. Imagination is what will save us. Across centuries and race, and genre and gender, culture and nationality, this understanding of imagination connects RuPaul with African folklore, Latinx mythology, ancient Greeks, East Asian philosophy, Islamic theology, and even poets of the Romantic age like William Blake. Another one of my faves, actually. Actually, a little tangent here. I came to know about William Blake through my undergraduate readings as an English minor. I didn't really vibe with him at first, but the older I get and the more I come to realize myself, the more he speaks to me. Blake believed the only possible redemption humankind might find is through imagination. In an address to practicing Christians in England in the late 1700s, Blake wrote, "I know of no other Christianity and of no other gospel than the liberty both of body and mind to the exercise that is the divine arts of imagination." Blake said, "Imagination, the real and internal world of which this vegetable universe is but a faint shadow." In one of my favorite poems by Blake, he speaks about the effort to make the world around him more reflective of the divine arts of imagination. And in the final stanza of that poem, it reads, "I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem and England's green and pleasant land." Bars. Blake says he will not rest until the world around him looks more like a paradise he dreams about. His sword here is not a weapon to slice or maim. His fight is a mental one against perception. His sword is a pencil, a pen, a quill, to revise and edit misconceptions about the way things are. It is a refusal to the suggestion that some realities are too significant to change. Many of you here, by choosing to dedicate yourselves to the humanities, or by loving and supporting those that do, have joined in this fight. Blake's approach to the truth, also shared in RuPaul's message, is unique but equally fabulous and touches on something universal and profound. Remember this: imagination inspires and shapes art, and art shapes the world. And you are artist and critic. Therefore, you are world makers. Whenever you might begin to question the value of language and writing, this craft, this work, your education, remember that stories are the only thing that has ever really made considerable change. Words are what prompt action. Narrative is the engine of our collective histories. Art is how we remember who we are and who we want to be. Whether you are writing verse or prose or screenplay or criticism or lyrics or journalism or ad copy or another art entirely, you are engaging in a tradition of imagining that has been a pillar of humanity, that has helped humanity go on even when it could not possibly go on. You are never really alone when you engage in a creative practice. When you draw from your imagination with the intention to produce something to share with the world, you are engaging in a never-ending conversation and discourse. So, take the wise advice of a drag queen television personality and a lesson from the 18th century Romanticism. I encourage all of you, everyone, to wildly imagine the type of artist, scholar, person, and world maker you want to be. And then, take steps every day to become that figure of your own invention. It is not enough to follow your vision towards self-actualization, though. The real power behind becoming the image of one's own imagination is the way being in line with the image of your dream might inspire others to also step into their best selves. Dream big for yourself, but be conscientious. It can't always be about you. In fact, it most often shouldn't. It is important to work every day toward your vision in a way that works for the benefit of every being, all of us. I'm going to say something, and it might seem a little harsh, but if you're only interested in writing for yourself, keep a journal. When you decide to publish, to send something out into the world, use your voice to educate, implore, raise up, promote, empower, do good for more than the communities you belong to. Always ask yourself, and I ask myself this too, is the work I'm doing in line with the image of myself I'm envisioning? And if it is not, if that work doesn't help yourself and others imagine a more diverse and inclusive future that benefits more than just you, maybe it needs revision. Remember, with great power of imagination comes great responsibility. I came up with that. For those of you graduating today, I can only hope that you have found companions in this program, in this life, in this work. Hold on to each other, and also go on to find others who recognize and believe in your imagination. Help craft and cultivate a community that supports each other's growth. If you do this, I promise you, that community will help sustain you and lead to greater opportunities for yourself and your peers. Show up for your lives and for each other. There's so much more ahead of you. The image of your imagination is bound to morph and change. Dreams will be realized and replaced with new ones. You'll set greater and greater goals for yourself. Be open to changing your mind on things. Be open as possible. Because inspiration can come from anywhere to spark your imagination. This occasion reminds me of a RuPaul song, actually. It was performed by contestants in the finale of Drag Race Season 5. The song is called The Beginning. And initially, it was not one of my favorites, if I'm being honest. Its electro pop and thumping bass makes it fun to dance to, but the repetitiveness of its cliched chorus can be grating. It goes like this. This is the beginning. The beginning. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. Over and over, over and over. And that repeats. It just keeps going. When I first heard it, I kind of cringed. But on another listen, the bridge of the song and its implications stood out to me. RuPaul chants, "Change the world, change your mind. We defy space and time." Defying space and time takes the idea of the beginning in a whole new direction. It makes changing the world an issue of perception. Something like quantum physics. We might upend shared beliefs about reality by changing our mind or point of view, by imagining something new. And that happens over and over again. I like that concept. The idea of endless possibilities only limited by images of your own imagination. I like that a lot. That is powerful because it's so real. To the graduates of this program, I wish you good luck. Please take care of yourselves and each other. And thank you.
Thank you, Donald. Do we get to can we listen to claps for a second, everybody? Yeah, feel free. Let's give some claps.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And Mama Roo just inspires. You can't not feel it, you know?
You can't. You just absolutely can't.
There, it's
That's
she's
fantastic.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Donald, I hope you'll stick around for our readings today that you helped to select for Occam's. And I think Donald will be with us. And I think now we are at the graduating student recognitions that Dr. Crystal Perez will be reading and celebrating. Are we just doing emoji claps, everyone? Or can we take our mutes off and make noise? What's the plan?
Let's unmute and cheer.
Let's unmute and cheer. This is a great group. We can do it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trini, and thank you to our author, Donald Quist. I am, as Trini mentioned, Crystal Perez, and I'm also a fairly new faculty member in the English department that has welcomed me with open arms. And though I don't know a lot of you here who are graduating, I know a few of you, and it's been my pleasure to be in classes with you and share space with you. And today I am especially honored to be here and celebrating your achievements under particularly difficult circumstances. So I want to give a hand to you as well for your accomplishment. And I want to proceed now to reading folks' names. And yes, like Trini said, feel free to unmute yourself and cheer for your loved ones. We're going to get started. If you can't unmute yourself because there's a lot of background noise, I'm familiar with that. Personally, in my house, so if you hear a little bit of noise, my apologies in advance. But if you do have a lot of background noise and prefer to use your virtual reactions, please feel free to do those as well. Okay, so we are going to get started with MA students.
Can I say one thing first, Crystal, before you begin?
Sure.
I just want to state that the names that we're going to call out are students who are graduating in the fall 2020 term, so they just graduating in spring 2021 and summer 2021. So there are actually 3 semesters worth of students who are taking part in this event.
Thank you, Dennis. Okay, so we're going to get started with our MA students. Adrienne Volkner.
Hey.
You're like fake clap the whole time. I have to loud clap.
Sarah Badur.
Yay!
Robert Finley.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Jingying Chu.
Yay!
These are our graduating master students. Congratulations to all of you.
Mhm.
Do we have any of our master students here today?
They're all TESOL graduate students. I'm not sure whether they are here or not.
Well, our congratulations to them. We will now proceed to the reading of the names of our students with a bachelor's. Regine Abrigo.
Yay!
Celina Alarcón.
Yay!
Ariana Aranda.
Yay!
Megan Ash.
Yay.
Madeline Babcock.
Yay.
Elena Bigelow.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fifth.
Congratulations.
Casey Bowles.
Yay.
Brittany Butterfield.
Yay.
Nye Carlisle.
Yay.
Julia Castro.
Yay.
Carolina Chavez.
Yay.
James Cook.
Yay.
Hey.
Cindy Cordova.
Yay.
Aaron Cruz.
Yay.
Mission group.
Savannah Cushing.
Yay.
Need to move on with Spencer Davis.
Yay.
Tyler DeWitt.
Yay.
Alexandra Estrella.
Yay.
Jessica Esquivel.
Yay.
Keegan Fish.
Yay.
Yesenia Franco.
Yay.
Angelina Garcia.
Yay.
Cynthia Garcia. Blanca Gonzalez Mendoza.
Yay.
Margarita Gonzalez.
Yeah, Margarita.
Gonzalez.
Yay.
Lindsay Haffen.
Yay.
Leah Harwood.
Yeah. Right.
Kennedy Hoyer Bangoli.
Yeah, good.
Kennedy.
All right.
Jasmine Humildad Rubalcaba.
Yay.
Kion Karimi.
Yay.
We'll continue with Sukirat Kaur.
Yay.
Jason Leal.
Yay.
Shay Legging.
Yay.
Okay.
Bro, that's so good.
Juan Lopez.
Yay.
Ana Jacqueline Lopez.
Yay.
Jasmine Maharaj.
All right.
Jesus Medina. Victoria Morel.
Yay.
Yasmin Moser.
Yay.
Emma Mundorf.
Yeah.
Emma. Oh my gosh. Emma.
Malika Nejad.
Yay.
Alana O'Neill.
Yay.
Stacy Oliveros.
Yay.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, fine, yeah.
Lauren Orozco.
Mm.
Yay.
Maritza Ortiz.
Yay.
Kyle Perez.
Yay.
Kaylee Pickens.
Yay.
Alexandria Pierce. Pierre.
What was that one? Oh, sorry.
Pierre.
Yay!
Isabel Poquis.
Yay!
Melanie Bruneda Rodriguez.
Yay!
Ramirez.
Yay!
Samia Remen.
Yay!
Kristen Roguero.
Yay!
We made it.
Said.
Yay!
Frank Soto.
Yay!
What happened?
I will say this again because I think my Wi-Fi is not working properly. So Spring Soto, let's give it up for Spring Soto. Nancy Talavera.
Yay!
Jimmy Tamimi.
Right.
Catherine Wenceslao Soto.
Yay!
Amy Williams.
Yay!
Selena Instead.
Yay!
And Ellen Zavala.
Yay!
Right.
I believe that's everyone. So I want to extend my congratulations to every single one of you. We can take a moment to unmute for those of us who can unmute to give a huge round of applause to all of you. Let's do that now. Take a few seconds to do that.
Yeah, congratulations to all of you.
Way to be.
Work.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, you did it.
We are so proud.
Mhm.
Way to go, Alex!
To all of you, yes.
And some people are en route, like home from Commencement right now, I hear.
Uh-huh.
So we're giving them a shout out too for all of
Yeah.
you who might watch the recording afterwards. Let's say congratulations and excited. Oh yeah, here's somebody right now coming in. Congratulations, everyone. That was fun. Thank you for reading.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Trini, we have about 4 minutes before our next event. So I was wondering if we could use those 4 minutes for anyone who wants to extend their congratulations either through their mic or the chat.
Let's do it. Jump in, everyone.
Way to jump.
Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, and I just feel privileged that I had some of you. It's just really nice. You guys did a great job.
So nice seeing my professors again. I know I've barely been on campus. It's kind of sad, but I wonder what I could do as an alumni in later years.
I'm sure our alumni services will be reaching out to each and every one. So, that question will be answered.
Yes, it will.
All right, I like the flair, Casey. Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the medallion I got for being an honor student, summa cum laude.
Fantastic.
Very nice, Casey.
Amazing. And yeah,
Casey.
wow. Yeah, you all are welcome in my you are welcome in my classes. You all alumnus. You know creative writing. I've been saying this all the time. I don't say goodbye. I don't. I just say like do some other things and come visit me. So
That's true. That's true.
That's really I unfortunately haven't had you in any of my classes.
no, you'll have to come meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you helped us out really well in the Occam's Razor project too.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm excited to celebrate that with a reading, contest reading and launch party, which we'll hear about soon. It's been an incredible amount of work that everyone has been putting in. I'm in shock and awe of all of you, honestly. I've been doing this for a long time, and I have never seen a team work as hard as this graduating class. I admire you all, and you inspire me.
Thank you, Trini. And thank you so much. I'm obviously going to talk about it more later, but seconding what Casey said, you've been so helpful with Occam's, and we really, really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We're glad to make it happen. It had to. We have to keep going during all these times, right? That's the number one. As Donald was saying, you have to imagine it, and then you can just make it happen. You've been doing that.
Sorry, I was gonna say thank you very much, Donald, for your lovely speech.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
All right, so I'm just gonna keep trying, working hard, making submissions to different people. You know, just continue to improve myself as a writer too.
I'm really glad to hear that. Like, super glad to hear that. Yes, just keep going. Yeah. Just keep going. You know, we're always better the next day than we were the day before. Mm-hmm. And with that in mind, like, yeah, we just have to show up, keep trying. You know.
I really just want to give my thanks to like literally everybody I've ever come in contact with, like in this English department, students and faculty. Like there's a couple who like obviously weren't here to be able to make it, but even then I was so grateful for everybody who helped me along my way. And like Trini, you especially, like you've been my favorite professor, helping me feel motivated to like be creative and be myself. And I have like Skylar who was there who like really helped this past semester like with some rough things, and just legitimately everybody who I've come in contact with. And I just want to say thank you so much, everybody. Really, like I couldn't have asked to be a part of a better department. Like I really couldn't have. So thank you.
Yay.
Thanks. That is very nice to hear. Thank you.
You've come so far, and your writing is just amazingly inventive. I'm so excited for you. It's been such a pleasure to be in so many classes together. That's the great part, right? Yeah. And you can come back and visit as a distinguished person of experience and wisdom in the future, and share what you've been learning out in the world with our classes.
I already put it. I said that's gonna be one of my goals in the next 5 years. Next 5 years, that's gonna be one of my goals, is to be a visitor in your classes, because yeah, it's a goal.
Awesome. All right, we move on to our next event, our next item.
Okay, that'd be me, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to bring everybody down because we're all on a good high right now. So even though this is a tribute to one of our faculty members who died, I think it was in May, about a year ago. And, you know, I've had a few of you in my classes, and I asked you if you knew him, and most of you said you heard of him. But before I get too far, I did want to say congratulations. And I don't know if you guys know, as students, you motivate us. You make us feel smart. You make us want to do our jobs. And you influence us. We learn from you. I don't know if you really get, if you put that together, but that happens for us. So anyway, back to Jim Murphy. So some of you that I talked to, the ones that I talked to, you said you didn't know him, but you'd heard of him. And that's how I came in to Cal State Hayward as a student. It was Cal State Hayward, now it's East Bay, but I'd heard of him. In 1988, everybody said, oh, you got to take him for modern English grammar. I don't know how we all communicated that without the media stuff we have today. Maybe it was just a regular talk. I don't know. But anyway, that was the thing, right? Let the airplane go. And so I signed up for Murphy's. Well, first it was, what? I have to take a grammar class? Man, I went back to school. I was like 28 years old, right? I'm like, grammar? I don't remember grammar. And they said, don't worry, take his class. You'll learn it. Okay, fine. I signed up for his class and I did learn it. And then I got to know him over the next 30 years. And when I told my wife I was going to talk about him today, she said, oh, boy, he was your department's like academic dad. And I was like, yeah, that is that. That's right. And then when I told my son, I said, do you remember Dr. Murphy? He said, oh, yeah. And he was a gentleman. I was like, a gentleman? That's interesting. So, yeah, both of those are right. He was like a Renaissance man as far as the academics went. And he was a gentleman. He always tried to do right by the students and faculty. I mean, he worked really hard at that. But there was also something else about him that everybody maybe can take with them today. And I'll just tell you how it started when I took the grammar class. So he broke it down into 5, and don't worry, there's no grammar quiz or crap like that right now. You graduated, you don't got to worry about it anymore. So 5 independent clauses. I thought, oh my God, I can remember that. And then he just said, you got to add things to them, you know, to make them interesting and everything. Like, okay, great. So I become a teacher and I use that, right? Whenever I have to teach like something where I got to deal with grammar, I start there. So a couple of years ago, right before he retired, about 30 years after I had him as a teacher, I went into his office. I said, hey, how's it going? You know, we're BSing. And I said, oh, hey, by the way, I just taught those 5 sentence or independent clause types that you showed me back in 1988. He's like, what? I don't do that anymore. I'm like, oh my God, what? Okay. So then he explains to me that he, you know, he kept doing research and, you know, thinking about how to distill things for the students, and that he had developed a new approach. Well, when we had this conversation, I was 55, the same age he was when I had him as a student, and he was 75. So think about that. At 75, he was still trying to figure out the best way to communicate ideas to students, and he was still intellectually curious. I think that's amazing. So as you graduate and you get out of here, stay curious. All right, that's supposed to be like the end, and you know, now we do something fun.
Clap. Yeah.
Well, thank Dr. Murphy for that. He was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So inspiring. Thank you.
Sure.
Wish I could have known him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of stories.
Okay.
When we changed, I just got to tell you one. So I never seen him mad before, and he was chair at the time. Oh, he chaired the department like crazy, like for
many years.
Many years. Whenever we needed a chair, boom, he was there. He was very committed to his job, right? And he used to have his own office, and then down the hall was the chair's office, and he would go back and forth between the 2 offices. Dennis, you probably remember that. Mm-hmm. And one time I can hear him getting really mad in the chair's office. I'm like, what the heck just happened? And it was right when we changed the name from Hayward to East Bay. And he comes out and he says to our secretary at the time, what do the students think this? Now I'm letting you in on the inside of things. Okay. This is not something students would ever have seen. But he said, what do they think this is? The University of Bedlam? And I never seen him mad. So I kind of freaked out. So he comes walking down toward his office. I go, hey, wait a second. It's not University of Bedlam. It's Cal State East Bedlam. And he just said, all the madness drained out of him. And he went, touche. And that was the end of that. All
Jim
right.
Murphy was a really fantastic faculty member, friend. He was a good person. And for those of you students who were able to have some classes with him, you guys really got your value out of any instruction you could have gotten from Jim Murphy.
Mhm.
And you know, he left us at the beginning of the COVID experience. He didn't die of COVID, but he left us kind of right at the beginning of things. And he's just left a lot of people behind here who miss him greatly and who valued his contributions to our department, and who, you know, people who just learned many things from him. He was the one who recommended me for my first sort of administrative work in the department. I became chair after him, you know, so Jim influenced a lot of people on this campus, and we are sad that he's gone.
My last email with him was like 3 days before he died. And he said, I really don't want to have to do that online stuff. I'm glad I retired. So.
Well, I think that that kind of brings to a close this first portion of our commencement ceremonies. Right? So I want to take a moment to say thank you to you guys, and once again, congratulations to all of you students. Congratulations to all of you for your graduations. And we know that meeting with us here in this virtual environment, it's not the same as walking across the stage when, you know, sort of post-COVID, but we want to just take this opportunity to say congratulations. We are proud of you guys. And even though COVID keeps us here virtual, you guys deserve every kind of accolade and every kind of congratulations you guys get. We are really proud of all of you.
Yes.
And I know that after this, we have Occam's Razor events happening. So Trini, you want to tell us what's coming up next?
Yeah, let's look at the schedule here. Okay, we'll take a short stretch and then we can come back and hear a little bit about Occam's Razor, the launch party coming up tomorrow, and hear about contest winners that we've had in our department throughout the past year. Do some tributes there. And then we have a short reading, a short curated reading of the contest winners.
All right.
That are in Occam's Razor. So the two go hand in hand, as you all know.
Yeah, great examples of our student talent. I'm looking forward to it.
Talent, celebrating, and then we give you the mic and hear from you for a while.
All right.
So should we do 10-minute break? Is that what we're doing? Or
Yes. We'll break till 6 o'clock.
Break till 6 or start again?
Break.
Yeah. So we'll start in, wait, are we starting in 5 or 10, Dennis?
Going by the schedule, we start at 6, so that's 5 minutes from now.
At 6, okay.
But you're seeing that section, so it's kind of like
We'll see you all in a minute. 5
All
minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. And I saw a few people come in, including Johnny. Hopefully Johnny will read. He didn't know if he could make it today. Some people are coming in, and we were all waiting to see who could be present for this next Lake of Our Adventure together this evening. I'm Trini, for those who just joined. I think I know all of you though. This is great. And I wanted to do some announcing and celebrating of all the contest winners we had this semester. We starting with the creative writing department's writing contests. We had 3 this semester. And we usually have a couple more and they will resume, but we had this time R.V. Williams Memorial Fiction Contest, in which Donald was the judge. We had the Flash Contest in fiction and nonfiction, for which Donald judged. And we had Creative Nonfiction Contest, for which Parochista Kakpur, who was one of our distinguished visiting writers, sat as judge. And so let's give some shout outs to the winners. Let me read the sheet here. I will share, maybe we can move the slides because we have everyone's name on the list. There we go. Creative Writing Contest winners. Let's give some shout outs to R.V. Williams Memorial Fiction Contest first. First prize, Sorry I Don't Speak, But I Understand by Arthur S. Arboleta Jr. Woo!
Major congratulations.
Arthur, did you make it? Are you here?
Yes, I am here, but I'm at the beach.
You're here. Oh my gosh. Arthur's here. Amazing.
Oh yeah, the beach.
Oh, you're at the beach. What a bummer.
That's good. What a bummer.
Great. Okay, well, I hope you can read for a few minutes in a minute once we get everything, but we'll see how it goes. Second prize for R.V. Williams Memorial Fiction Contest, Hold Tight by Isabel Poquise. Congratulations, Isabel. Third prize, Leviathan by Jonathan Cuevas. Just arrived too, I think. All right. Oh, here's Catherine. Flash Contest. First prize, Out of the Cocoon by Leona Ho. Second prize, How to Return a Friendship Bracelet by Melika Nejad. Here's Jimmy too, just in time. Jimmy buzzing back in. Third prize, Repairs by Lindsay Halfin. And two honorable mentions in the Flash, Deadline by Jimmy Tamimi and Brain Dump by Jasmine Maharaj.
Yeah.
Love both of those. All of these are in Occam's Razor print edition too, so you'll be able to read them. I was totally blown away by the quality of writing, and this issue is going to be so good. I think it's going to be the best one ever, honestly. Creative Nonfiction Contest, for which Porochista judged. First prize, Isolation by Christopher Hester, otherwise known as Topher in our groups. I think Topher's recovering from vaccine today. But they might come, we'll see how it goes when the readings come around. Second prize, Only a Moment by Skylar Ramirez. Third prize, Alphabet Soup by Emma, oh, here's Sandy, by Emma Mundorf, again, Emma. So congratulations on writing contests, everyone. We have more contests coming up here. I think we have on the slides the Virginia Iries contest next, or FOA, let's see. Okay, Friends of the Arts Award winner. We selected Jarrell Dizon, and this is a really special award, a community building award based on talent, uniqueness, nerve, and style, as RuPaul says. This is like the RuPaul Award, I think. This is like the beginning of this award, which is new to me. I just think that's how I was translating it. And Jarrell has been an overall great help, teaching assistant, community builder, literary, go-to, brings sense of humor, just shows up, as Donald was saying, and he's a friend of the arts. So let's give Jarrell a warm congratulations.
Jarrell.
Yeah. Not to mention hard work on Occam's as co-managing editor. Well done. We have one more award here. Virginia Irie scholarships. These are for teachers forthcoming, people who will go into English education. And we selected 3 people. There's, is that Jasmine is that you on an Erica line?
I'm having technical difficulties. I had to switch to my mom's. Sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure you were here. Well, so you can hear this. These will be the new teachers of our generation, and this is an inspiring scholarship that helps towards tuition and enabling this path that you're on. So congratulations to you all. 3 winners of these awards. Jasmine Maharaj. Congratulations, Jasmine. I'm really proud of you. Safa Al-Samiri. Safa, are you here? Hopefully. And Savannah Cushing. Well done, everybody. I think up next we have an Occam's Razor moment where our editor-in-chief, Emma, is here. We had two managing editors, Skylar Ramirez and Jarrell, and I think they wanted to say a few things and invite you all to the lunch. And I can put the Zoom link in the chat for you. Otherwise, you should have flyers floating around too. But I'll hand this over to you all for a few minutes, and then I'll jump back in and host the reading.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to read out my opening statement to you all. So welcome to issue 38 of Cal State East Bay's Occam's Razor. I can assure you that it is like no other issue that has come before. First of all, issue 38 is technically the only one to have been created entirely online. Last year, we were able to have a grand total of one in-person team meeting before the COVID pandemic forced us all into shelter in place. Secondly, you will notice as you read through these pieces that many of them share an unintended but unavoidable common bond. Many of our writers felt compelled to write about the isolation, confusion, fear, and occasional glimmers of hope that were so present in this past year of crisis. You will notice, I'm sure, that many of the feelings expressed eerily reflect your own. Finally, you will see that in a year in which the whole world felt like it was starting from scratch, our team of editors decided to throw out the rule book. While previous issues have consisted solely of the winners of our English department's annual writing contests, this year we decided to widen our scope. Not only were we lucky enough to have our usual runs of the R.V. Williams fiction contest, our flash contest, and our creative nonfiction contests, but our team also took on the task of creating an open submission call and carefully curating a selection of editors' picks for each genre. This call was not limited to current students of East Bay, and you will find a number of pieces in this magazine from alumnus or from creative individuals from outside our university bubble. In a year in which isolation played such a heavy role, we felt it necessary to welcome all writers and artists to share their work. While so much about this issue is entirely new, much remains the same. Occam's Razor has always been made possible by the care and dedication of amazing, imaginative people, and I'm proud to say that this year was no different. I'd like to thank our overseeing advisor, Professor Trinity Dalton, who inspired us to work beyond our perceived limitations. I'd like to thank every professor in the departments of English and Arts who I know firsthand have given so many students the confidence to tell their own stories and to help share the stories of others. And from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank our contest judges, Donald Quist and Porachista Kakpour. Most importantly, I cannot thank our team of editors enough. To our design editor, Alan Jang, thank you for compiling the vessel that all of these pieces are stored in. This would not exist without you. To my managing editors, Skylar Ramirez and Jarrell Dizon, thank you for being there when the tasks that go into compiling a magazine grew overwhelming and for instilling your passion into everything that you do. To the rest of my editing crew, which included Regine Abrigo, Casey Bowles, Cynthia Garcia, Lindsay Halfin, Isabel Pokes, Catherine M. Wenceslao Soto, Jimmy Tamimi, and Ellen Zavala, thank you for your dedication. Thank you for reading through so many pieces. Thank you for your vision. And thank you for sitting with me for hours-long Zoom meetings while we comb through each and every sentence, trying to do these stories justice. It only occurs to me as I write this that there are many of you I have never met in the flesh, and yet I consider you all my friends. I am so grateful for each of you, as are our readers. Thank you finally to the writers and the artists who created the works that you are about to enjoy. This is for you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thanks, Emma. and Skylar and Jarrell. Jarrell, I was supposed to read your bio, and I think I will jump in because Skylar and Jarrell did so much work on this editorial team of 16 people or so that took a lot of coordination on Slack, right? On Slack and Zoom. And I was getting a little lost in there. I'll just admit it. I was like, I can't read all this Slack. You have to catch me up. And you did. And you were so patient and kind with me, all of you. And Jarrell would give me, he was coaching me on the side and giving me lessons about classes, right? Jarrell, you've been there. You've just been there. So let me go back to Jarrell's bio because I'm going to read bios for the readers too. Jarrell Dizon is an avid reader of fan fiction who lives in San Leandro, California. He started writing to reclaim the voice he lost, and he hopes his short stories will allow other people to reclaim their lost voices as well. In his spare time, he plays Animal Crossing, New Horizons, surfs YouTube, and plays with his family's 7 cats. So that blank slide, you know, we've just been like working to the last minute, everyone. I was gonna put a picture of like all these cats. I wanted to make you a cat collage and it just didn't happen. But I owe you a cat collage psychically and Jarrell and Skylar, would you like to say anything to the group before we jump in?
First and foremost, thank you for the introduction, Professor Dalton. And I'd like to thank everybody else who nominated me for the Friends of the Arts Award. It's a huge honor to receive it. And I must admit, I was shocked when I found out that not only was I nominated, but such an award existed. I didn't really do much, just my civic duty as a student of the English department. My experience with working on Occam's Razor was otherworldly, and it's an experience I won't soon forget. I had a blast reading and working on all of the submissions, and it's definitely something I would recommend for anybody who's interested. Thank you all again once for the nomination.
First of all, I'd like to echo what Isabel already put in the chat, thanking our fearless leader, Emma. As much as all of us were a team, Emma held us together by making sure we were all there, making sure we got breaks, making sure the work got done on time. Another shout out to Alan, who worked so tirelessly this whole time. Even when the rest of us took breaks, Alan was always there. And plugging for tomorrow's event is the launch of Occam's Razor. It's going to be held over Zoom at 6 p.m. We're going to have it be about an hour. It's going to be an open mic feel with the option for any author that was published in this year's Occam's to read their piece. Feel free to share the link with anyone that you want to come, whether they're in the English department, they're some other kind of literary lover, or your friends and family. It's going to be really chill and not very scheduled. And also we'll be sending out printed copies to all the authors that were published this year. If you would like more copies, or if you're not in this issue, but you'd like a copy of it, make sure you reply to that email and we'll definitely send you one.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. And like 2 seconds before we launch into readings here about Occam's and the experience of doing this, we had an editorial team come together, approximately 15, 16 people, and coming up with 45 pieces that are in this issue. It's 180 pages, this issue, text heavy. With 45 works selected from a giant pile. So I commend you for reading through all of those, coming up with the themes, organizing the meetings, deciding on, selection criteria, and just making it all happen. Honestly, this group was putting in 10 to 15 hours a week, I think, right? And Emma, let's just can I mention that Emma got scooped up by Stanford University Press in the middle of the semester with work and just decided to keep doing Occam's Razor too. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
even when you are trying to start a new job during a pandemic. This stuff is not easy. What I noticed as a faculty member very briefly was that there is a lot of depression and isolation in the texts, right? This will bring us all together and commemorate this event, which we hope never happens again, a pandemic, weathering the election, the wildfire catastrophes we all went through. These are all in the texts that are published. Death, anxiety, boredom, despair, they make heavy appearances. And everyone, I can tell, wanted to give a slice of real life during a pandemic. On the other hand, as I'm reading through the final files again, what I see is ambition and love for literature seeping through, as always. Artists who want to transform our mundane existences into sublime communications. The dream is alive and well in this group. Honestly. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for making it happen. And I'm just really impressed that you were able to pull it off. I knew you could, and there were doubts, and you just ran with it and did it. So this is going to be great. And you'll remember this experience for the rest of your lives, and so will I. Thank you for having me. Now let's do some readings, shall we? Arthur Arboleta. Arthur, would you like to read? Can I read your bio? Arthur Arboleta is a young adult fiction writer currently finishing up his first year at Cal State East Bay. As a queer Pinoy voice. That's a tongue twister, right? Pinoy voice. I love it. Arthur hopes to bridge the gaps in his culture with tradition and transformative action. Arthur hopes to meet Stephen Yun someday. You're laughing from the beach.
Hello, thank you for reading that bio. I unfortunately can't read because I'm at the beach, but I did want to say thank you to a lot of the staff and teachers at East Bay because this quarter or this semester, I was actually homeless for the first 2 weeks, and a lot of the professors at East Bay really helped me out. So thank you, English department, with all my heart.
I'm really glad you made it. And we appreciated the communications with you, and we're glad you're safely housed right now. I hope you're not at the beach camping, right? Okay, good. All right. Then let's hear from Isabel Pokes, who is a graduating English major and ethnic studies minor. She was published in last year's edition of Occam's Razor after winning third prize in the Marcos Poetry Contest for her poem Crazy Blood. She dedicates this Hold Tight, which is what the contest winner was this time around, to her sisters and cousins, multiple cousins. Isabel.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Trini. I'm going to read from page 3 of my piece. So 1 second. Emma and Grace took the Amtrak train to Sacramento. 3.5 hours later, the two of them were in the backseat of a minivan with Grace's family on their way to the restaurant. Things had been going well so far. When the family had picked the girls up from the train station, they hugged their daughter and offered Emma some kind of half-assed hello. Hi, Julie, Emma had said brightly. Dan, nice to see you guys again. Thanks for having me. Emma, was all Julie said with a tight smile. Dan had just awkwardly shaken her hand like they were golfing buddies. Now they were driving through Placer County in silence to go someplace called La Province. Emma felt Grace take a shuddering, nervous breath next to her, and they made eye contact. Emma grasped her hand soothingly, running a thumb across her knuckles and smirking at the flecks of green and yellow paint left over on her skin. When they arrived at the restaurant, they climbed out of the minivan together and headed for the door. Grace's two little brothers broke off from the rest and raced ahead through the parking lot. The restaurant was crowded. Emma disliked the formal, stuffy atmosphere. As they took their seats at the table, Emma felt Julie staring daggers at her. Do you mind not doing that? She asked bluntly, gesturing at the girls. Emma realized her hand was still interlocked with Grace's, resting casually on the white linen of the table. I mean, you understand, people don't take kindly to PDA around here, that's all. With that, Julie started talking to the waiter, ordering drinks for everyone. Grace and Emma pulled apart, stunned. Emma could see the hurt on Grace's face, the way she shrunk into herself. Emma watched Julie carry on like nothing happened. It set her teeth on edge. Dinner went somewhat smoothly after that as Dan and Julie made small talk about the girls' life in the city. There was always the undertone of disapproval, of disdain in the way they responded. For instance, when they asked about Grace's work and she spoke about her art, about working with the kids. Her love of her job was obvious. It could be heard in the adoring way she talked about teaching the kids and her joy in painting. Her parents shut that down quickly, with Dan remarking, "Must be hard to make rent on an art teacher's salary though, isn't it, Gracie? That's the real world for you, I suppose." Across the table, Grace's little brothers were throwing food at each other. Julie seemingly couldn't resist adding on, "A bachelor's degree in art," she laughed. "That's what we get for letting you go to Berkeley, I guess. Damn liberals' influence," she joked. Julie then launched into a story about Grace ruining one of her nicest dresses with paint as a little girl. Under the table, Emma held tight to her hand again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Johnny Cuevas. Johnny, are you here? I think I saw you pop in.
Yeah, but let me just
Would you just like to say hi, or would you like to read for a minute?
yeah. I got my piece open right here. Funny story, I was actually on my phone. I was actually on my way home as soon as like the Occam's Razor started. So, but yeah, I was on my phone first, and then I connected to my laptop. So
Great, I'm glad you're here. And we're just reading really short excerpts from our pieces. So
right.
I'm glad you can do that.
All right then. Let's see now. All right, so should I start reading from my piece now, or? All right. I came to the Pacific Ocean for one reason only, to break the diving world record. At least that's how it was supposed to go. I went with my two best friends, Pat and Mike, out into the Pacific Ocean. They went out to do their regular fishing routine. We had an arrangement that while they were doing their fishing routine, and they would also monitor me while I was trying to break the record. We then loaded up the boat and we traveled out to sea. When I finally got to a reasonable distance away from the coast, I went inside the boat and got in my diving gear. After I finished changing, Mike started to do the fishing. Pat was in charge of monitoring me in case something went wrong. The moment of truth came. I put on my scuba mask and proceeded to make my dive for that world record. As I started my descent down, I had to do it slowly so that my body would adjust. I had descent not any more than 9 feet per minute, and my goal was to beat 1,044 feet down. I had my diving gauge ready to see how deep I'm going. I swam down. I noticed all sorts of marine organisms, such as mackerels, anchovies, and salmon. I wasn't that far from the coast, so I could still see some marine life. I read online that goblin sharks are sometimes seen in the Pacific Ocean. One sea creature that I heard was in this ocean and that is hardly ever seen is a frilled shark. The moment I saw it on an article I read, I was astounded. It looked like something that came from mythology. I thought if I'm lucky, I would be able to see one during my dive. I would still have a ways to go, however. I remember reading that the frilled shark is typically found near depths of 60 to 5,000 feet, and they are hardly ever seen. So it would be unlikely for me to see one. After that, though, I checked my diving gauge to see where I was. It said I was almost 100 feet down. And if I estimate, It has been around an hour. After that, I continued my descent down, but I couldn't help but feel something was watching me. After a couple more hours, I noticed measurements on the gauge, and it said I was around 300 to 400 meters down. I noticed that the blue waters were getting darker as the light was harder to reach further down. As I went further, an unbelievable thing happened. As I looked right in front of me, I saw a frilled shark. It was far off in the distance, but still close enough where I had a somewhat clear view. I was about 5 feet. It was about 5 feet, and unlike most sharks, had more of an eel-like body. In its line of sight, it was a squid, which was part of its main diet. It started to wriggle around like an eel would in the ocean, and not like other sharks. The way it hunted for its food was more like a snake that lunged for its prey rather than a shark and swam away with its food. It seems to move independently from the tides and currents by how it hunts. But it may still need navigation. I can't believe what I just saw. I saw something that most marine biologists have spent their lives trying to study. Afterward, I realized I had to keep focus and went further down to beat that record. As I continued further down, the gauge measured me past 600 feet. I could barely see anything anymore. I was more than halfway there. I had to admit that seeing that frilled shark in action was amazing. But it'll probably be a while that I could see something like that again. As I continued, I felt like something was staring at me, something big. I looked around, but I didn't see anything. All I saw was a giant rock in front of me. Then I realized the terrifying truth. It was an eye. It was another frilled shark, but more massive than I or anyone has ever seen. An average frilled shark would be about 5 to 6 feet long, but this one was over 200 feet long. They don't usually prey on people, but this one looks like it could unhinge its mouth and eat me like that squid I saw. Although all it did was stare at me, I felt like it was talking to me. It was not necessarily standard talking like with a human. It was more like putting ideas or messages directly into my brain. It told me that my people refers to it as the Leviathan. The Leviathan then tried to ask me something. The beast noticed that I had an interest and fascination with the frilled shark and wanted to learn more, and that I wanted to learn more about its kind. It somehow knew that I had no ill intentions and offered me a choice. It could show me that what I wanted to know, but it would have to be at the cost of my diving record that I was hoping to break. And I was supposed to be the only one who knows. How did it know that? Was it inside my head? How did a frilled shark get so big? And how was it speaking to me? I do have this theory that it might have grown more extensive because of deep sea giganticism that happens to particular creatures near the bottom of the ocean, but that would not explain why it was communicating with me. I asked, but the Leviathan would not tell me. It wanted to know what my decision was. I thought to myself that I can always try again for the record and have this creature teach me here and there. Teach me there and then. Just as I was about to nod, Leviathan put his head under me, and I grabbed onto its head around where its slits are on his neck. I think there were gills. Leviathan almost knew what I was going to say before I did. It told me to be careful and that its skin was sensitive. It had hair cells to sense vibrations and mechanical pressure. That's how it finds its prey in the water, and all frilled sharks have this ability. We then departed from my diving spot. As we traveled through the ocean, we came across a giant squid. The frilled shark opened its mouth, and I saw the rows of razor teeth it had. It was acting like a snake by slowly creeping up on it. Suddenly, it went at full speed at the squid and it bit down. The way it opened its mouth to unhinge its jaw was almost like being sucked into a black hole, and almost swallowed it whole. After it was done feeding, I asked what else that it ate. It said an average frilled shark would usually eat squid, cuttlefish, and octopi. It is said because they are deep in the ocean that their metabolism slowed down to suit the cold environments, so that they could go for a while without eating, which makes sense since it looks like it would be hard to find food here. It said that the way it moves seems sluggish. I thought to myself, were the frill sharks getting sick?
Thank you, Johnny. That was so great. Thank you. It's deep in the ocean there on that one. Just down into the depths. Thank you so much. Sorry
I actually got the original idea for this for like my first year in a Cal City Space because I had to take like a geography course called The Oceans, and I had to do like a paper called of the frilled shark, and I thought, hey, this creature seems really cool, and I kind of want to do a piece on this.
That's awesome. It's a great piece. I wish we could hear the whole thing.
Yeah, it kind of goes on, but I think we're kind of strapped for time, so.
Yeah, we have to stay on time. I'm going to start getting my buzzers out, everybody. We're like on a 3-minute thing and we're going long here. So as much as we love you and we want to hear all the long stuff, we're going to have to wait and read longer and just keep moving through the readings. And we're just doing like blurbs here today. So thank you. Thank you for that amazing, I could see the ocean as I was moving through. It's awesome. Next up is Emma Mundorf, who's a graduating senior, wrapping up her bachelor's in creative writing. She puts her pants on one leg at a time. Let's welcome Emma.
I forgot I made that my bio. Okay. One sec, let me pull this up here. So yeah, I'm just gonna read a small piece in the middle of this. 1 month ago, she had been complaining of headaches and dizziness. 1 month ago, she casually mentioned to me that she had stopped taking her Prozac, and perhaps that was why she was feeling so off. And I asked if she had talked to her doctor about it first, and she said she had not. And I asked if she had weaned herself off of it, and she said she had not, that she had simply stopped cold turkey. She said that it was time to go back to being normal. And she laughed just a little, and I did not laugh with her. And I tried to tell her that normal was not headaches and dizziness from sudden withdrawal. Normal was not abandoning medical instructions. Normal was not calling yourself crazy. Normal was not sniffling alone in your room at night, not pretending to be asleep when you heard a knock at the door. Normal was not constant exhaustion. Normal was not the belief that you could have fixed all of this, all of us, past and present. Normal was not the belief that you had anything to fix. Normal was not the certainty that this was all avoidable, not the certainty that where the land met the ocean, you would at last find mundanity. Normal was not the belief in mundanity. Normal was not the seeking of normal. Normal was nothing. Normal was nothing. Normal does not exist, not for our family, not for any family. And none of this, nothing past or present or ever has been or ever will be normal, whether you take the little pill once a day or not. So please, please just take the little pill that makes you feel better. Not normal, just better. The best that we can ever ask to be. Not normal, just better. And that's that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up, we're into our flash fictions with Leona Ho, who had transferred from a community college and is looking forward to her time earning her MFA in creative writing next up. In her free time, she enjoys watching movies, listening to music, going on walks, baking, being active in her church and her church's college fellowship, and of course, writing. Let's welcome Leona.
Hey everybody, thanks for that. I'll just read a really short blurb at the end of my piece. Yeah, I get that. Well, I'm glad you're with me now, Ned said in a soft voice and placed his hand on hers. Against every fiber of her being, she let it rest there.
Lovely. Thank you. Melika Nejad is an aspiring Iranian-American author. Her dream is to teach creative writing and become a young adult librarian. Maybe releasing a book or two wouldn't hurt either. Let's hear it for Melika.
Thank you, Trini. So this is my flash fiction called How to Return a Friendship Bracelet. 1. Take off the colorful wrapping paper you spent 30 minutes perfecting. It won't be seen by them anymore. 2. Stare at the box and listen to the scraping of the bracelet sliding inside. 3. Scroll through the pictures you once took with them. If you begin to tear up or cry, let yourself do so. 4. Don't get too angry at them. This is a part of life, your mom would say. Don't get too discouraged when it doesn't make you feel better. 5. Drive to the store where you purchased the accessory. Walk inside and go to the register. 6. Refuse the urge to look for more presents. You won't need to buy them anything anymore. 7. Ask the cashier if you can make a return. You knew you could because you checked their return policy beforehand. The box will now feel heavier. 8. As a cashier rings his manager and the process of returning begins. 9. Painfully watch as the box you placed on the counter is taken and scanned. This process takes about 2 to 3 minutes, but it will take a whole hour for you. It'll feel like a whole hour for you. 10. Quietly thank the cashier and manager for their time with a meek smile. You won't have the energy to give them a full one anymore. 11. Quickly turn away and repeat step 6, then hop onto your car. 12. Make sure the windows are up and the radio is just loud enough to mask your sobbing. Don't time yourself, just cry. 13. Call Chris. He's one of the only ones you know who won't leave you like they did. Just cry to him. He can hear that your heart is breaking. 14. Drive home. At the door, you'll be greeted by your fur babies. Your smile will come back a little upon seeing them. 15. They will be there. The others who became masked because of your grief. Realize now that you have others who love you. 16. Work on bringing your smile back. They will help you to do so. 17. Understand that it will be hard. Let your heart crack, but never break. 18. You may see your former best friend again. It will be unexpected. A spike in your chest will creep in, but just smile. No anger. If needed, walk the other way. 19. Spend more time with your true friends. Do not feel guilty or selfish when you ask them to hang out. Remember, they love you. 20. You will begin to notice a flowy feeling in your chest. This may happen in a couple of days or weeks or even months, but your laughter isn't forced anymore, and slowly your smile will return. Remember this. Friendship is like a pen. The ink flows smooth and full until it begins to run out. True friends will try to refill that pen, while others will simply find a new one. Thank you.
Thank you. Love that piece. These are so great. That's a survivor's piece, right? Takes us through the whole experience. Thank you. Just acknowledging here, Lindsay Halfin, making sure she didn't make it. I think she said she was unable to due to ceremony. Lindsay, are you here? She's third prize Flash, and she is a Cal State East Bay senior with a love of stories, writing, and all things creative. She hopes to become a full-time editor after graduating, specifically editing fantasy novels. So anyone needing fantasy novel editing, you know where to go. Next up, Jimmy Tamimi, who I'm really glad could be here at the last minute. Jimmy is a person who sits in front of a computer and presses buttons with letters on them. And Jimmy has a very important role in our cohort, which is to say, he is the poet. He's the resident poet in this group, along with a few others, but Jimmy brought poetry to everyone for this whole year and kept poetry alive and well in the writing. So thank you, Jimmy.
Hi. Thank you for that introduction. I guess I will read one poem titled "The Part-Time Cashier's Dilemma." The part-time cashier's dilemma. His hand searches pockets nervously. He looks at the all-powerful machine, then presents it his plastic tribute. He wants to go out tonight. He reads his balance on the screen, $2.95. He wants to take her out. Sure, he still really cares, $2.95. He retreats to his car. The gas is almost empty, $2.95. He wants a cold drink. Is it enough? Barely, $2.95.
Thank you. $2.95. $2.95. Jasmine Maharaj is a 21-year-old who is majoring in English with a concentration in creative writing. Graduating, I think, soon. Now, as her fourth and final year at Cal State East Bay comes to a close, she hopes to take all of the memories made and all of the new experiences as a writer along with her as she moves on into the real world. She dreams of being an author, a teacher, and most of all, she dreams of touching the hearts of others through the art of the written language. Jasmine, who won a teaching scholarship.
Thank you so much. I'm still not processing that I won that, but like maybe at like 3 a.m, I'll wake up like, oh my God, I won that. It's still very fresh. I will go ahead and just read a little bit of my piece. It is called Brain Dump, as it is very much a brain dump of sad feelings. I feel like it's easier to write things when you're sad. The sun shines brightly through the cracks of my shutters, suffocating me so. I wake up and plant myself in front of my window. I look outside at the trees, my yard, the street. Sometimes I feel jealous of the birds that I see, jealous that they are able to come and go as they please and fly free into the beautiful sky. Or of the drivers who pass by and rev their engine at an obnoxiously loud volume, jealous of the adrenaline they feel. Or the children at the park who laugh and scream without a care in the world. I hear the laughter of these children and think about the times I spent scootering under the stars of a warm summer night, sweating and laughing, singing Shakira with my cousins. How I long to feel the wind of a blissful evening once again. Sometimes when I'm in the shower, I press on my ears with my thumb and run my head underneath the water. I close my eyes and can imagine the roaring waves of the ocean. I imagine my parents and my brothers smiling blissfully as they splash in clear blue waters underneath a beautiful pink sky. And when I open my eyes, I find myself on the floor of the bathtub, sobbing quietly so that no one will worry. How do I tell my mother that I am so sad? And how do I explain to my father that I wake up every morning dreading the idea of getting out of bed? How do I explain to them that I feel empty inside when they've only showed me so much love? How can I possibly make them feel anything less than wonderful? How can I tell them as though I have no purpose, that I haven't done anything meaningful with my life, that I sit in my room on weeknights and get drunk alone in my bedroom, that I feel so lonely all of the time even though I'm never alone, and that I cry to myself when I think about the memories I can never experience again? How do I tell my mother that I miss playing with my dolls with her? And how do I tell my father that I miss when he would tuck me in at night and tickle me until I couldn't bear it anymore?
Thank you. So much of our writing workshops and our experience together in class this past year was dealing with content, but also just making sure we were all okay, right? Just being supportive for each other, who we were all going through a lot together. And I can hear it in this reading. And I'm just so proud of you all for being brave and writing the real stuff. So well done. Well done, Jasmine. CNF contest, a few more here. Christopher Hester, Topher's not here today. I think Topher, did you come in the last minute? Topher was our first prize winner with a piece called Isolation, which is really a fabulous essay. And next up then is Skylar Ramirez, who believes communication is integral to gaining understanding and fostering empathy. After receiving a bachelor's in creative writing, she is now pursuing a career in educational government. Skylar, you're up.
Thank you. I wanted to also thank Porochista for this award. She's not able to be with us here, but I also found out that we went to the same high school. So adds even more to my desire in creating an equal education system, because apparently that's where greatness can really stem from. I'm going to read from the beginning of my piece called Only a Moment. The red traffic light turns green. Cool air rolls through the cracked windows of Chloe's Jeep as we enter the intersection. Thick scattered clouds reflect the moonlight, turning the rest of the sky an inky blue. She turns the radio down and takes a breath. Can I rant for a second? Yeah, of course. I'm so mad at my aunt right now and her stupid husband. Why? What's going on? So a few days ago, my grandma got COVID. She pauses. I give her a nod and turn my head towards her so she knows I'm listening. She used to have a live-in nurse, and because she has really, really bad arthritis and needs help doing like everything. But since she got the results, the agency won't let the nurse go back and help her. My grandma lives in SoCal, and obviously my mom lives here, so my aunt's her only child lives down there. And the husband told her it wasn't a good idea for her to go help my grandma get her medication. Like, if that was your mom, wouldn't you do anything to help her? I mean, yeah, of course. I'd wear a full hazmat every day if I had to. Exactly. Chloe takes a hit from her puff bar and blows it out the window. It drifts behind us as we pull into the parking lot. Anyways, now my mom is trying to decide if she wants to go down there for a few weeks and help my grandma out. That's tough, love. I'm sorry you have to think about all that. My mom was on FaceTime with my aunt when I left right now. They're stressed trying to figure out where my abuelos can get vaccinated. Oh, my sister's boyfriend got vaccinated already. He works in plastic surgery, and I guess that counts as an essential medical worker? Damn, good for him. Hopefully my abuelos can make an appointment soon too. I open the car door and step out under the blue neon lights that read liquor and ice cold beer. I tuck the loops of my mask behind cold ears, causing my glasses to fog instantaneously. Chloe reaches for the door with a sweater buried hand. I make a beeline for the spritzers. It's a spritzer kind of night. The cooler area is being occupied by two older men and one who seems about my age. The black-haired older gentleman turns to look at me and greets me with a full-teeth smile. My breath, as well as the very blood pumping in my veins, seems to stop, then altogether start again with more heat and purpose than before. Oh, are you trying to get in here? My bad. He holds the cooler door open for me and gestures for me to take my pick. The younger man, noticing my presence, quickly lifts the collar of his shirt over his mouth. His eyes shoot to the floor. Despite the heat rising up my spine, I realize I must respond. Thanks. I was just looking though. I walk away in a shroud of steaming uncomfortability. All three of them have been maskless. How would they have been allowed to enter like that? I found Chloe in the wine section and we picked a bottle of Merlot. Maybe it can be a wine night after all.
Love that piece. Thank you. We talked a lot this past year of about capturing these details that we hope to forget, like the putting the mask on and the glasses fogging up, and the anxieties around seeing maskless. Yeah, you're just capturing it all right there, and the fear of helping. Thank you so much. And the third place for creative nonfiction was Emma. Emma with a different piece, Alphabet Soup, which is equally amazing. Emma, did you want to do another short reading or say anything else? You're just like, you've been doing everything here. You've been doing it all.
To be totally honest, I didn't know that I was going to read for honorable mention for fiction, and I got mixed up, and the one that I read was my nonfiction. So, but yeah, I think I did enough reading. We could just
if you're stay in the same airline, I don't know if they will require you to pick up your luggage.
Well, that's great. Sounds good. We always like hearing more from Emma, but we've had a full experience here, and we should rest our eyes and remember to blink. This has been on screen for a long time, right? Should we have any concluding gratitudes, thoughts? I'll let you all. Thanks again. Let's give Donald another thanks for hanging in and listening to all these pieces. A beautiful, beautiful inspiration, and listening as an audience member to all of these pieces that you selected during a very, very busy time in your semester with dissertation. So, wow.
It was a pleasure, though. I welcomed it. It was tough. You all are very talented. And it was really just a treat. So, thank you all.
Thank you very much, Donald.
I'm very, very proud of her.
Does everybody here have the link to the launch party tomorrow night? Does anyone need it in the chat right now? Thank you.
I may need the link later if you don't mind emailing it to me.
Yeah, let's just put it.
Yeah,
put it in the chat, and here's the flyer again, everyone.
Like, also one more question. For the copies of the Occam's Razor, where's the place, or who do we have to contact to like request multiple copies of it?
Oh, I know we haven't even sorted all that out yet. You will get multiple copies, and you can have as many copies as you want. Once you can swing by campus, they'll be delivered to campus as they usually are. Emma, I think you said, or Emma, Skylar or Jarrell, some will be mailed out while we're not on campus. But I think we can create a system where I can like show up on campus and you guys can come pick them up or something. We'll figure that out. We'll figure it all out.
Should we just email you and request how many copies we need, and then we could just swing by to campus and pick them up?
I think what we'll do is make a system of announcement where, because I think that would be a lot of emails to juggle, but you can have as many as you want, Johnny. And I'll figure that out with the team, and then I'll send an email out like through the department announcing the ways to get your hands on the editions when they come in mid-June, I think.
It's not till mid-June, you say, right?
Yeah.
So by mid-June, you will have the means of getting everything distributed, certainly in order at that point, right? But we don't have them in hand at the moment. So we will have them mid-June, and you will have them soon after.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Plenty of copies, so you can definitely get some. We've also been talking about, we need to kind of see how campus goes, but having some meet and greets, right? Like, even though a lot of us are online and a lot of us are graduating, I told my classes we can meet on campus out in the grass at some point next semester and just say hi and celebrate and meet each other. And for Occam's team, wow, like we need to get together at some point and say hi, and just wave in the grass, right? So stay tuned for all of that news as well. We'll figure all of it out.
All right, then.
What else, everyone?
I think it's just a time to say thank you once again to everyone for taking part. To talk about our departments again, we are really proud of all you guys and the readers who just read tonight. I think you guys were fantastic examples of what our students can achieve and what they can accomplish. And it just shows that you guys have bright futures ahead of you guys. And we are looking forward to see what you guys do in your next stages. And once again, to say thank you to Donald. Donald, I think you read that you gained your PhD. You just completed it, is that correct?
I'm in the process of finishing it.
In the process of finishing it. All right, you're almost there, man. Right? And you will be a graduate as well. And I'll say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right. But I think that otherwise, I think we are bringing this to a close. I think we are ready to wrap up unless there's anything else from the Occam's community. But I think congratulations to the graduates. Congratulations to the prize winners. And I think that's all.
Great job.
Thank you all. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good-
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care.